Hey guys, so welcome on the Coleman Richness channel, and today I would like to talk about an issue, react to a video of Wode Maya, once again, my brother, and especially on what's happening to Africans in China, because probably you heard about it, but Chinese government kicked out African people, especially Nigerians, and if you would like to understand why basically it's happening and why they treat Africans so bad and stuff, honestly I don't have any idea, and you can leave my video. But for those who really would like to have solutions and make the things change because they are bored to see always the same news that we're bad treated in India, in Russia, in China, whatsoever, and would like to change because it's time for us to be respected, I personally feel like it's very time for us to take actions and not just complain on social networks. So I found like 3 steps, like maybe there's other steps that we can do, let me know in the comments, but I found 3 steps that I basically would like to share with you that we can basically implement to make the things change for Africans people and be respected even by politicians as Donald Trump's, at Marine Le Pen and stuff. So make sure to watch the whole video because it's very important. And even though like I'm born and raised in France, in Europe, I still feel very concerned by what's happening to my continent, to Africans people, my brother all over the world. And I feel very sad, especially when I know like how we treat the Chinese diaspora in our continent, and the fact like they can easily launch business, they can have access to plenty of jobs that they can't even have in China, I guess, and that's why they are here. And even though like some Chinese people disrespect the law, the local law, they steal gold. You probably heard about these stories that happening in Ghana, still happening in Ghana. And like if Africans do something like so in China, it's not even possible because the government, no, it's not even, you cannot imagine that it's happened in China. But for Africans people, it's like we don't have any governments, it's like a new Far West, and they can do whatever they want, even treat Africans bad in our motherland, which is crazy. Like basically I watch videos of Chinese beating African people, employee especially because they are late or for any reasons, but it's crazy. Like you're in your country and you're treated as foreigners, as slaves, and I don't understand. Like basically I don't would like to complain that much. I found like we can apply this solution to start to make people understand that we have, because we have a power. The things that we basically ignore is like we have a power, economical power, even though like you don't have the money of Bill Gates and stuff, but we can choose, basically we can choose where we spend our money. And so my first steps to start to be respected as continents, and we have to be all like in the same boat. We have to understand like no matter if you come from Nigeria, if you come from Comoros, if you come from whatsoever, Congo and stuff, for foreigners we're all black, and we are treated the same. Like basically we have to understand like one solution is the boycott. So don't get me wrong, my purpose is not to create hate between China and Africa, but to gain the respect, like because I have myself a lot of Chinese friends that I personally respect, and I like the Chinese culture, the work ethic that they have. I feel like they're in a way an example for African continent because they gain the respect from the West, and it's still not a reason to disrespect actually Chinese people, but they have to understand like they cannot treat us as. So in my hands, it's my old phone. It's a Huawei that I bought like 2 years ago or something, and I was looking for a new phone. So I watched a review of Marcus Brownlee about the Huawei P40, which seems very amazing phone, especially the camera. I'm looking for a phone with good camera for my YouTube videos, and Huawei unfortunately is a Chinese brand. So the principle of the boycott is, even though like I was interested to buy this phone, I'm gonna say
Nope.
like basically I'm not like a huge fan of Apple, but I have to I have to switch. Like basically the principle is like if you look at the USA versus China, the economical war that was happening a few months ago and still going on, I think so. um, the Chinese people actually, when they saw like Donald Trump decided to put restriction on Huawei equipment for 5G and stuff issues, they stopped like basically buying American materials, especially Apple. They was very targeted by the Chinese citizen, and they are still in China, but they don't make any sales there because the Chinese consume China iPhone, Chinese technologies. So it's exactly the same principle for African people. I'm not like, as I said before, I'm not a huge fan of Apple, but if I have no choices, if I have no others choices, I'm willing to do it because they have to understand like we will not like spend our money and be treated as slaves to their company. They have to understand like, okay, they good products, but it doesn't mean like we have to, no, we are not their slaves basically. So not only this, not only technology, but we basically consume a lot of Chinese products every day, daily, especially for African people who live in the West, in West Europe. And I know that it's gonna hurt because basically even my parents, they cook a lot with Chinese food that they only sell to African people because we are the only ones to cook those vegetables. But the Chinese supermarket, basically, we have to say no. Like basically, we have to boycott and say no way. There is no way that you still keep to treat us as slaves in China, in your countries. Don't say anything, and that we spend your money or money on your business. So you're gonna everything like the plantains, the cassava, the yams, everything that only African eats. You have to say no. We need to have another provider. It can be African one, which will be better. But if we cannot find, let's try to find out like maybe others businesses, others community, Indians, maybe they sell these kind of things. I don't know. But we have to make them understand like we ain't gonna spend our money to their businesses, and they're will still gonna bully us as people, like basically. And it's something that we can all do, but you're gonna feel like,
Okay, sir, but how am I supposed to cook my jollof rice?
are you even serious? We are supposed to be in economical war, and you want to enrich your enemy just because you would like to cook your jollof rice? Oh my gosh, I'm lost. I'm done. We have to make them understand that we are not willing to accept their treatment. And the first way that they listen is because we attack their wallets, because we don't spend our money to their businesses. So you have to understand that of course it's good to eat like the good Africans food. Me too, I'm really addictive to it. But it's not the most important actually. I think that there's some sacrifice that we have to do, and that really worth it because it's gonna help our brothers who live in China. Because for those who say like why they're in China, why they're not in Africa, they make business there, they make study there. So Chinese are also in Africa. I don't understand why they have to go back. Like if they have the reasons to stay there, especially for grow as human being, to become the better version of themselves, to make businesses, I don't understand why they have to leave. Why like Asian people or European and even any foreigners actually live in Africa and live his best life. So yeah, it's really time for us to wake up and to understand like basically we're in economical war against anybody, any people who treat us badly. It can be like because as I said before, I'm not racist. It's not because they are Chinese, but because they treat us bad, and they have to make the things change. That's all. That's just the deal. Like, there's no big deal. There's no hate, but they have to change. So the best way that we can all do actually is to decide to boycott together, because if it's just one person, it will not even be noticed. But if we all do the same pattern together for long months, they're gonna start to feel like a lot of business closed down, because they don't have any customers, especially in the West. Like I told you, there are some businesses of Chinese owned by Chinese people, but only with African customers. So, which is crazy. Like, they sell our food, we are not even able to sell our own food. So it will even like open some doors for our brothers in Europe who probably think about launch those kind of businesses, and maybe it can help them to grow and to have opportunities to make these kind of businesses. And we have to consume black, if we can. The more we can, we have to consume to black people, to black companies and stuff, and we have to, yeah, really be united. Because if we're thinking like, okay, I come from this village, these guys, I cannot even see his face, once you're gonna be abroad, you're gonna understand like there's no village, there's no one to protect you, your president will doing nothing for you, even though like you come from the same village. If you're treated bad in China or whatsoever in other country, he has fear, like he's afraid to speak. Like, I still waiting for a president who speak up and say something, who complain about how they treat bad Africans, but for now I'm still waiting, and I feel like it will not gonna happen. So basically, we have to be responsible and start to boycott Chinese businesses, but not only them, any countries that massively treat us bad. Like, no matter, I don't want to add more enemies for now, but yeah. But for the people who live in the West, African people who actually living in the West, I feel like we have to create like a really strong African lobby. Why? Because basically, if you look at any countries like the United States, any really powerful countries, there's a lot of lobbies that gonna influence the government. And yeah, I can talk about the weapon lobbies in the United States, but it's another issues. But for us African people, we also need to be to create a kind of unification across the nations, because the main problem, especially for my country in France, is like we don't feel like we are black, just black. We feel like some differences, like, oh, I come from Senegal, I come from any other countries, but the one there, the black there, the niggas around, is not my brother. Sometimes it's even my enemy, just because he come from another city. So it's really crazy. Like, we are in 2020 actually, and we cannot think in this way. Like, basically, I can understand like everybody cannot be friends with everyone, but once we are abroad, we have to understand like if we are in foreign countries, if we are not organized, if we don't have like a single voice for all African people, a strong single voices, it's like nobody gonna respect us as people, because they know like we are super divided, and we can basically do nothing if we are divided, especially in countries like Europe, sorry, like France, England, Germany, whatsoever. The list is very long, but we cannot do anything if we still have this mentality to be divided. And it's very time for us to start to launch a lobby that's gonna help, especially the young people who are actually studying. Because personally, I went through a lot of difficulties when it was about finding a job, and I wished I have like some African brothers who can help me to get a jobs and stuff. And at the end, I haven't found someone who helped me, which is very sad. But we can do it. It's not something impossible. It's not something crazy. it's just depending of ourselves. We have to decide like it's time for us to do a lobby sorry, a lobby. And the sooner we create these organizations, the better is it for us, because the sooner we're gonna be respected by others authority. Depending of the power of our lobby, we will be super respected in the country that we are living, for example in France, in England, whatsoever, in the United States. Probably Black American are more advanced on those issues than us, European, African. But yeah, it's time to start. And just to prove you that it works, I have a little example. Probably you heard about it, probably not, but the Black Wall Street, as I said before, it's in America. It's happening in America, and it was like the time of segregation. So in a city that was like Tulsa or something, I don't remember the name of the city, but don't worry, I'm gonna make a whole video about these issues. They're very impressive with way more details. And in a city in the United States, a time of segregations, the black was separate of the white people, and they live in district called Greenwood, and they decided to spend their money only in black businesses. So the black community of Greenwood started to become richer and richer, and in only 10 years or something, I don't remember, but in only very few years they started to be super rich. And the white people at this time was very scared, like, because they became super economically powerful, and that's why basically we have to apply the same pattern in our modern society. We have no excuses. We have everything to launch those kind of businesses. We have internet. We have some leaders. We have like smart people who have really high skills jobs. We have everything to create those like 2.0 whatsoever, but this new version of Greenwoods in our countries that we are living. And it's only depending of ourselves. Like, basically we have to talk each other. We have to understand, like, we are just one. Finally we are just one, because when we face the racism, there's no Togolese, there's no Ghanaian, there's no Nigerian, there's just African, poor Africans, people treated as so it's really time for us to understand, like, we need to be together and create a strong lobby, because without like strong economical power, it's pointless to think like people gonna respect us, even though like we sign petitions, even like if we complain to media, they're gonna do law just to gain votes and stuff. But in the we will not gain the respect of the populations doing just complaining. We have to organize ourselves to be super powerful as community. So the last tips that I basically would like to share with you guys, which is very important for me, because it's exactly the same message that I spread in my channel, is to invest in yourself. Because the sooner you're gonna start to invest in yourself and work to achieve your dreams, the better it's gonna be for the community. Because first of all, you have to understand, like, when you start to become a kind of light for black community, it's not only for yourself, it's gonna impact your family, probably, I don't know, your cousins. You're gonna inspire a lot of people around you, and also you're gonna start to gain the respect of others populations. Because, for example, if you become a doctor, if you become a lawyer, or if you have a businesses, if you have some businesses or investments, if you're shareholders sorry, my English is so bad today, but it's okay. No, I will not cut just for it. You have to understand that if you're powerful economically yourself, and if you have ambitions and goals that you move towards, basically the people gonna be inspired by yourself, no matter your color, no matter your race. You're gonna inspire the respect of others people around you. And it's very important that you start to understand, like, okay, I'm not just born to watch football, I'm not just born to dance, I'm not just born to chase women, but I have a higher purpose that I have to achieve. even just for myself, like it doesn't matter, I don't give a shit about Africa, it's your point of view. I can understand that, okay, I'm just selfish, I just want to live good, but do it great. Like, just not expect that you're gonna have help from governments. Just invest in yourself and be standalone. It's okay if you don't want to help African brothers. It's my missions. I can understand like every Africans don't feel concerned, especially those who always lived in the West, but you still have to do your life good, because if you don't depend on someone, it's already like a good sign that it's gonna raise the community, even though like you don't you don't spend your money in the community, or you don't share those kind of messages, but at least you become successful, and the people around you will respect you, because you achieved a lot of stuff in your life that is very impressive. So it's a message that's very important for me, because it's the goal of my channel basically. It's to achieve my dreams, is to make you achieve your dreams, to understand like basically we can achieve everything we want. It's just a question of mindset. No matter your excuses, it can be age, because myself, I had a lot of excuses when I was young. It can be age, it can be the race color, it can be the color, the race, it can be the countries. You can come from a poor countries and be successful. So it's just a question of mindset, and yourself, you have to understand, like, if you just change your life, it's already something good for the community, for Africa. You're a son of Wakanda. You have to understand, like, basically, you're a son of Africa, and you have to make the things happen in your life, first of all, because you have greatness in you, because you have to understand something. I realized, like, I was complex of being African when I was younger. I was like, invite others, countries, nationalities and stuff, or why I'm not white, why I'm not whatsoever, because you don't understand like the importance of history. But you have to understand, like, if you look at the history, and it's gonna introduce a playlist that I'm gonna do in the next videos about our model, that the people that are really model for African people, because unfortunately, like we admire the wrong person, like Neymar and other soccer player. But you have to understand, like, basically we all have greatness in ourselves, especially as African. We have so many talents, we have so many ideas, we have films, we have positivity, we don't have depression. We have so many strengths in ourselves, and we don't use it. We waste it in boring stuff. It's a shame, like, because our continent needs actually people very strong, that gonna be able to handle the challenge of the next century. And I personally think, like, it's time for us to understand, like, okay, it's good to comment on Twitter. It's very good to make a comment on my video and to share, but start to just invest in yourself. It's already a great stuff. You already have done a lot for Africa. If you become successful, if you become rich, because even though, like, people say, oh, it's not good to be rich and stuff, it's not true. Like, the richness is the power in this world, and you have to understand, like, chasing money is like chasing life, because without money you cannot even heal yourself, and you cannot be respected by others nation. And we see, like, in China, actually we are seeing, like, how bad we are treated, because economically we don't have any power over China, and it's time to change. Like, I mean, it's good to talk for hours, but it's time for us to decide to change, and that's why basically you have to understand, like, it's the main message of my channel. Invest in yourself. It's very important that you move towards your dreams, no matter what your dreams are, but to become better and better every day. And yeah, I would like you write in the comments your dreams, the things that you would like to accomplish the most in your life, in the comments. And what actions will you basically do to make the things happen? Like what will you personally do to start to improve yourself, to achieve your dreams? What are the steps that you plan to do every day? For example, if it's study something, you say like, I would like to study something. So yeah. So to conclude this video, I would like to promote others' channel and not mine, because I think like it's okay. If you don't want to subscribe and stuff, it's okay. But I really ask you to watch the free channels that I let in the box description down below, which is Wode Maya. You've done a lot of a vlog and talk sometimes about African issues like China and stuff, and I feel like his voice will become super powerful in the future, and it's really great that we have like someone who talk for the whole continent and have impact on internet and stuff. And Investir au pays. So this channel is in French. For those who don't speak French, I still ask you to share in your WhatsApp group and whatsoever, but share just that you have more visibility on YouTube, because you've done an amazing job, help African brothers to launch businesses, to believe in themselves, to invest in themselves, to make African greater as continent. So to follow his channel, and even done a jackpot, so you can give money to support projects in Africa, a lot of projects that we're gonna launch ourselves without expecting the help from any countries. So make sure to pay. Make sure to pay if you want to support his work. And the last one is Zack Mwekassa. So he give a lot of advices on life, on how the mindset that you need to have to live a good life and stuff. And sometimes he also talk about African issues, and I feel like it's very important that you check those free channel. So I hope that you appreciate my video, and that also you're gonna implement those free advices in your life, that we gonna do it together. Basically only myself, I talk to myself first. I don't want to give any lessons, but I feel like we are all in the same boat, and I think that's pretty much all. So yeah, hope to see you later, and God bless Africa.